Good evening and welcome to SAFC Fan TV and another edition of the Sunday Bunch with myself, Philly. Tonight we have Dino. Dino, just say hi to everybody.
Hello.
We got the Mad Mistake as well with paint all over his face. How you doing, Terry?
Hello, I'm fine, champion. Been a really busy day and I feel a bit hungover, but apart from that, all right.
Oh, all right. Doom and gloom in it, being a Sunderland fan. We've been joined by Jack Shields as well. Jack, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. Just looking forward to the torture of talking about Sunderland yesterday.
Right. Just very quickly, remind you that we are live, which means you can join in via the live chat if you want to have your say, any topics or comments you'd like to chuck in there. We will do our best to try and include as many as those as we can. Already on there, we're going to give a shout out to John Forbes. Says, Philly, can you give a shout out to Carl from the Black Cat podcast? He's not very well. No, Carl's having struggles with his mental health at the moment. So get well soon, Carl, from all the team at SAFC Fan TV here. NRL Chips is on there. David Walker, Anthony Perth, sorry. The Last Palmas Macamee is normally first, but not. Tony Lee in there, all right, Monkey and the lads, Ian Wilkinson, Nigel Dunn, Alan Robinson, and Emma Hansen as well. Before we get into yesterday's game, of course, Sunderland 1, MK Dons 2. I don't know if you know, there was a guy stretchered out of the East Stand yesterday, not very well. I don't know if you saw it. We have got news on him. He's totally fine now. He's absolutely all right. So that's good news. Probably the only good news we've been getting from the stadium recently anyway. So that guy who got carried out the East Stand is all well and fine. So that's great news there. Start off with you then, Jack, I think, yesterday. Another 2-1 defeat. How did you see it?
We were poor, Phil. Really, really poor. Forest kind of 15-20 minute spell at the start of the second half. Never really got going. Flat, no energy about the performance. Just a really, really dismal performance. And unfortunately, we've had too many of them in the last few weeks, haven't we? Nobody really stood out as to play particularly well. I thought even Matete, one of the brighter ones, technically was at fault for the second. His poor pass cost us possession, and then the lad slotted it in for Conor Wickham. You don't know where to go with this Sunderland team now, though. Do you know what I mean? Where are we heading? Because you think you're going to get a new lift with the new manager. Hasn't really happened, has it? I know he's very early days, badly out of form, and I think there's a lack of confidence as well. I think there's a few players that are really low on confidence and not really. I wouldn't use the word hiding, but I think a few of them really need to realise what this club is at this level and need to have a bit of bottle about them because there's too many of them going through the motions and we're a sorry state at the minute and it's sad to see.
Right, fair enough. Just very quickly, I forgot to mention at the start there, for the last 20 minutes or so, we will be joined by Dave Child, the Burton fan, great guy. We're going to be getting on. So as we're looking to the Burton game on Tuesday, we will be chatting to him as well. Back on the chat, our very own Jack Dodds is on there, and it is Jack's birthday today. Can we have a round of applause for Jack, please? There you go. Jack today becomes a teenager, which is all very good. He says, hi all, one of the most dejected performances I've seen in a while yesterday. Not to dig Alex Neil out, but thought that the lineup selection was poor. There was no need to drop Hume or Clark. Dino, what did you think yesterday? Another 2-1 defeat at home. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it wasn't good, was it? I mean, I know MK Don's on a bit of form. We're not really in form. But there's questions need to be asked. I mean, everyone wanted Lee Johnson out, thinking that we'll get a new manager in and we'll kick on, and it hasn't happened. Be careful what you wish for, because at the minute it doesn't look like we can beat anyone. I mean, 30,000 people turn up to support the lads, and they're still putting out performances like that. So for me, it's just showing that the fans aren't having the effect. The new manager isn't having the effect. The players need to take control of games and stand up to be counted, and they're just not doing that at the minute. I mean, I know people will say, "Oh, the defending was shocking for the 2 goals," but to be fair, I thought their first goal, it was a really nice through ball, because if we done a through ball like that, it's great attacking, but when it's against where it's bad defending, it was a great pass. Muaisa puts it between Patterson's legs. I mean, Patterson, could he have done better? I mean, it was straight at him. It's one of them ones where it goes through your legs. You're like, can he do better there, maybe? But, he is what do you call it? He is young. And then the second goal for them, I mean, it was a mistake by Matete. Matete was one of our best players. He was strong. And I don't know what happened. He played a lazy pass towards Evans. They've cut it out. They've played a 1-2. And Connor Wickham slammed it home. I mean, I'm sure it was Connor Wickham's second touch of the ball. I mean, again, our own mistake cost we the game. We could have came out there with a draw because of one bad pass, then ended up scoring. And again, Connor Wickham nearly had another one as well. It was quite laughable. It's not looking good, is it? But like you say, again, careful what you wish for. People wanted Johnson out, and it hasn't gotten any better. So who are you going to put the blame on now?
Right, well, we will get on to that. Just very quickly, back to the chat. Stephen Little says Speakman must be called out. His input into the club has been shocking. Tony Lee agrees with Dodsy, our very own Jack Dodds. He's shocked that Clark didn't start. And Nigel Dunn on there says worn out or burnt out. And John T says, with the current setup, we are simply not good enough. Let's face the truth. Terry, you was there yesterday, although I don't know how much of the match you saw because you was in a right state when you turned up at the Weed Chief. Your thoughts on yesterday?
A right state? I had 3 pints before seeing you. I was sober as a judge. I wasn't a swag, actually.
Off and everything. You was like, right,
yeah, well, I was baffled why Hume was dropped and we put Winchester back at right back again. I mean, I don't know what goes on with these managers' heads. Square pegs. Why can't we just put square pegs in square holes? Surely it can't be that difficult to have a right back as right back. We make life difficult for ourselves, and we've been saying all season we play better with 3 central defenders, and no manager seems to want to play that either. So we have to just do what we can. And Alex Neil said he's trying to implement new things into the team, but they weren't kind of listening, or they weren't doing. Because it's going to take a while for the players to understand what the manager wants and get out of the old routines and the new routines. But we dropped Clark, a winger. We have Pritchard on the left-hand side. I just don't get that. So he obviously sees things. He's not going to play 4-3-3. Where's he going to? He likes Pritchard. I've heard he likes Pritchard. He likes Embledon. He likes Wright. He likes Matete. So he's got to get him in the team somewhere, Pritchard. So where would he play Pritchard? He's number 10 at 4-3-3. Don't have a number 10, do we, in 4-3-3? So got to put him in somewhere. So he's got to actually either change his system and play Pritchard in this correct position, or put Clark in and drop Pritchard, because for me Pritchard isn't a left winger or wherever he was playing him yesterday, and Diake wasn't much better on the other side, so it was pretty poor. Like they both said, that their goals were just balls over the top, high back line defense. Watching Doyle yesterday, his legs have gone, haven't they? There's no sprint in them. There's no pace and no speed in them. He just kind of get back. So why have such a high line? And Wright, again, is not the quickest of players. So again, high line's going to catch you out. Serkin's leg looks to have gone, or his head's gone. So we need to freshen things up desperately. But who do we bring in to freshen things up? I mean, we've got to try something different, and we've got to get into winning ways as soon as possible. We got back in with a goal with a brilliant header from Stewart. I thought it was a class goal. But then we're pushing for the second goal, and we're leaving ourselves open at the back again. And their counter-attacking was really good. They made us, like I said, our defence. We just can't defend before at the back. And I don't see Alex Neil changing to 5 at the back. I don't think we'll have 3 centre-backs. Bart's injured anyway, and nobody seems to like Jamajli. So I don't know where we go from here. I really don't. I just hope the players can actually start implementing to what the new coach wants to do. And like I say, I'm just baffled at the moment. I'm just dejected, and I'm pig sick, to be honest. But I'm hoping we get a win on Tuesday.
Right, fair enough. I thought, me personally, quite a few of the players yesterday looked lethargic. They just seemed to have heavy legs. Just very quickly on the chat, Emma Hansen says second half you weren't sober. Apparently, Terry, that's at you. We've got to give a shout out to Marianne and Carl Taylor, our friends in Boston, Massachusetts, who've donated $5 via the super chat. Can we have a round of applause for them, please? Thank you. They say we have a weaker team since LJ. Wrong man appointed. Need to play Zamajli, 3 centre halves. And what's the point of buying Defoe? He needs game fitness. Fair point there. Don't forget, we've got 300 people on the over 300 on the live stream at the moment. We've got 47 likes. Just hit the thumbs up if you would. We'd like to at least hit 100 if we can on a Sunday. And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please do so. It is free to subscribe. Right. So who is to blame? I was shocked yesterday when we did the fan cams. We got the fan cam interviews on our channel. If you've not seen them yet. Right, the amount of people who were saying Lee Johnson should not have been sacked. Why did we get rid of him? And stuff? And I was astounded because I kept saying, you know, the amount of people we interviewed and everybody wanted him out. You know, the majority of people wanted him out. So who are we going to blame this time then? If there's no Lee Johnson to blame, or where we're going now, Dino?
It's down to the players. The players go out on that pitch to perform. On paper, these players aren't bad players. Roberts played high level. Pritchard's played high level. Ross Stewart's banging goal. He's on like 19 goals this season in the league. I mean, Dan Neil at the start of the season, he looked like a world beater in this league, and he's just dropped off. Corey Evans, I mean, I don't know why he's not my captain. He shouldn't even be on the pitch, in my opinion. Matete, he looks really, really good. I mean, Doyle was class at the start of the season. Bailey Wright, when he came in, he had a couple of mistakes. He was class. And I just don't know what it is. I mean, the players are it just seems like they're just so much down tool. It's basically like they're doing the bare minimum. Oh, I'll get the ball and I'll just put the ball in the box. If it goes nowhere near, it's on the striker to get on the end of the ball. Do you know what I mean? We just feel so lackluster, lack of confidence. And when people said get rid of Johnson, I was like, I didn't want rid of him because, yeah, we've had a couple of bad performances, but I mean, we've seen how we're playing at the start of the season. We're playing really, really well. And when we got rid of him, everyone's like, oh, we'll push on now. It doesn't always happen because it's a new manager with new ideas and who does he like and who does he not like. And everyone just thought, we'll get rid and we'll get promoted. And we've gotten rid and we're out the playoffs. It's went the opposite way. It's had the opposite effect. So for me, it's down to the players. The players have down-tooled. I don't know what it is, but for me, the players get all the criticism because they're not bad players, but they're playing like absolute shite.
Hang on, Terry. I'll bring you in just now. I quickly want to go on the chat. Mickey Stewart says we're rubbish. Don't have a clue, and we won't reach the playoffs. Chloe Gibson says it's a mixture of everything, not just one thing to blame. And I don't know if Jack's been allowed to drink a little bit because he's not off our chat now. He's constantly on it, saying thinks the last 13 games are a good opportunity to regain some fitness as well as find some form before the playoffs. 5 or 6 lads are lacking a bit of fitness. Terry, you was wondering.
That comment was spot on. It's accumulation of a few things, to be honest. I mean, we don't help ourselves by making ourselves short at the back. We've got Younger and Flanagan are both gone. And we've had, to be honest, it wasn't a very good January window. We look back on it, was it? I mean, we've lost 2 of the centre-backs, and now we're short of centre-backs. Now Doyle's legs have gone. He's only 18-year-old, remember. These kids are not fully men yet. Not 21-year-old, they're only 18-year-old. Neil's only 19-year-old. You know, it's going to be one hell of a first season to continuously play every single game, almost of the whole of the season. It's going to take out in your body as well as your mind. And this is where we needed the likes of Flanagan and we needed the likes of Younger in the central defensive areas. Let some of these players have a bit of a rest when they need to be. You know, so we let ourselves short. That's Speakman's fault. You know, that's Madrox's fault. That's KLD's fault. It's Lee Johnson's fault for letting some players go in the transfer window before it even closed. So it's accumulation of everybody's fault, and it's going to bite us in the arse now, and it's going to take a massive effort from Alex Neil to turn this around and to start playing, you know, to rotate the squad a little bit, because like we said before, we need Jermaine Defoe with minutes on the pitch. He's not going to get any fitter or much fitter, match fit, if he's not going to get any minutes at all. So as soon as we went 2-1 down yesterday, he should have been brought straight on.
Right, not fully men yet, is what you say. What age do you become a
21 is when you become fully mature. Your body's actually fully mature at the age of 21. I did all this when I was in my running days. I went and I did a lot of studying on this whole subject. And for me, your body's not fully mature until you're actually 21. So it's took a lot of the likes. He might look like a big lad. He looks like he's grown. He's big for his age, but his bones and his body and his mind won't be fully mature to the age of roughly about 21. So it's taken out of him. He looks heavy-legged. His legs look gone. Doyle's legs look gone. Neil's, he looks gone in the mind, and Cirkin looks all over the shop. So those three young lads, two 19-year-olds and an 18-year-old, could do with a bit of a rest. That's why we need a bit. It's unfortunate we've got likes of McGeady on long-term injury, Broadhead long-term injury, hopefully back soon, and also Huggins injured, and then the other lad was injured as well there, the young Luke going 9. So if those players were available, you'd be able to rotate the squad a bit better, and these younger lads won't be in the state they are right now.
I wish I'd never asked, Terry. I just wouldn't know what age you became a man. Then I was going to ask if Dudsy's a man, then he's 19 today. So he's still a child.
Not fully mature. He's only 19. I thought he's about 17.
No. It's just his head, man. He's acts like a child. DJ Earth donated £2 by the super chat. Thank you very much to you for that. We are going to be just fine, which is a change from DJ Earth, because he's normally saying that it's all being blown. Don't forget, by the way, you can donate to the channel via the super chat if you wish to do so. We say many times the channel doesn't make a profit, and it does cost money to run. If you want to do that, there is a $ at the bottom of the live chat. Hit that, select the amount you want to donate, and it's all gratefully appreciated, though you can still chat for free. Jack, who we blaming this time then? Who's at fault for all this?
I think you can't just point it down to one single thing. I think it's the club's lacked a bit of direction since we've come down to League One, haven't we? Do you know what I mean? We've tried different approaches to try and get promoted. I think more recently you're looking at, I think the players are certainly tired. I think ideally with 18, 19, 20-year-olds, you shouldn't be expecting them to play regularly Saturday, Tuesday, week in, week out. The fact we have is technically, I think it's down to a combination of things, perhaps bad recruitment, and I also think we have been unlucky with injuries. But I think just looking back to January, as Terry touched on, we let 2 defenders go, didn't bring anyone in. That leaves us exposed at the back. I mean, you actually look at the goals we're scoring. Fine, it's the goals at the back. We've conceded something like, is it 50 goals already this season? 51 goals, something like that. I think it's something along those lines. That's too many. Or 46. I've just checked. 46 goals against. It's far too many from a team that has aspirations to get promoted. So it's clear we've got issues at the back. And I think there's a lack of confidence with some of our players as well. I think to be a Sunderland player, particularly at this level, you have to have broad shoulders. You have to stand up and be counted. And I think there's a few, particularly in the last few weeks, whether it's form or confidence, we've had too many not turning up, not wanting the ball, not wanting to show for it. And I think that's what's frustrating, because if you can take losing a football match, but what you can't take, and the Sunderland fans will never take, is a lack of commitment from some of the players. And I think we have seen it, whether it's Bottle's gone a little bit and not getting on the ball and demanding a certain level of expectation from Sunderland players at this level. And I think too many have been found wanting recently in the last few weeks. But obviously, we all know about the off the field issues. We all know there's a lack of direction from the club at the top level. And I think when you look at that, it boils down to the fact that the three, not so much KLD, but the other three that we touched on Thursday, don't really have an idea of where this football club's going. I think the job's far too big for them, and I think they're bitten off more than they can chew. But we've all seen that, the example of that in the last few weeks, haven't we?
Right, okay. I'll come on to that, what you're saying anyway. Bob Bass on the chat says, well, lads, we got what we wished for. LJ should have been kept till the end of the season. Couldn't be any worse. I mean, we were only 2 points off top when he went. Before I come back to the point you were making there, Jack, Mad Max has donated $2.99 Australian dollars, I believe that is, towards the channel. Thank you very much. Round of applause for him. And well, Jack, you said about players not putting the shift in, players not turning up, and I mentioned on the last show about players rebelling. It was said about the senior players, didn't want Lee Johnson to be sacked. And I said, do you think they're rebelling? And we sort of quickly poo-pooed that. But I've got to admit, yesterday when I was at the match watching, I thought, it's like they can't be bothered. They just didn't seem bothered. So, do you think there could be something in that, Terry?
Do you know what it is, right? If I was the manager, Alex Neil, and I thought exactly that, I'd drop half of them players for the next match. Simple as. Just kick them out the team. I wouldn't pay them the wages. If that's what I thought as a manager, they were rebelling against me as a manager, I wouldn't pay them the wages. I put them the 23s in. At the end of the day, we probably won't make the playoffs now, as it's going to happen. Hopefully we will, but I mean, things couldn't get any worse.
Right, yeah, but you do hear of, I mean, it happened with Di Canio and stuff like that, especially with senior players that have a little bit more influence when they're, when they're in the dressing room and stuff like that. It does happen.
So which players, Phil, do you think it's happening to? Because, I mean, Pritchard's worked under Alex Neil before, so I'm sure they're friends in the first place.
Mate, I haven't got a clue. I'm only going on what's being said. What was said in the press about about the senior players not wanting them out. Just before we go any further, I just want to say a big thank you to Peter Black, who's donated £13 to the channel. Congratulations for 13,000 subs to the Mad Mistake. Good job, everybody. Away the lads. Round of applause, please, for Peter. What a star he is.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. And thanks, everybody, for the 13k subscribers. Much appreciated.
There you go. And a shout out, while we're on, to Chris Shaw, 449, via a super sticker. Thank you very much, Chris Shaw. It's all gratefully accepted. It does help the channel out. Dino, do you think there could be anything in it? I mean, there's something going on, something somewhere.
I mean, do the players not like each other? Is there a bit of friction in the team because certain players have come in? I mean, it could be down to a lot of things. I mean, are the players not happy with the board? Because obviously, seeing what happened on social media with the Madrox thing, I mean, did it affect some of the players? The players think it was KLD running the show, and it wasn't. It was Charlie Meffin and all them. So have they getting a bit pissed off of that? I mean, go on, Terry.
Yeah, well, that could be something in that, because allegedly I heard from a decent source of mine that wasn't tomato ketchup or Heinz HP Brown, that a couple of players were really arguing and going at it after the Wimbledon game. Was it the Wimbledon game? I think the Wimbledon game, yeah. So hopefully they've kissed and made up since then. But Alex Neil had to really sort of do one of his speeches after that game. So you never know, it could be true.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot of things. I mean, for me, players aren't as committed as they used to be. Like, they used to wear the hearts on the shoulders. Now it's about, we'll play. If we get beat, it doesn't matter. I still get paid. I mean, do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it hurts any of the players when we get beat. It really doesn't. Like, back in the day, I remember players saying, if we got beat, I used to cry to myself and blah, blah, blah. Now it's just like, if I play badly, play good, if I'm on the bench, I still get paid. It's just a job to these guys. It's not a pride thing anymore. It's just a job, and maybe that's starting to come to play now. But I don't know what it is, because we've got talented players. I mean, Patrick Roberts comes on. He likes to play something. He's going past players, and you get some players who are scared to go past players. They're just happy to pass it sideways and backwards. I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but I mean, it just looks like these players are happy to stay in League One as long as they can. That's what it looks like.
I must admit, I'm becoming a big fan of Dino's phrases. And today's one, wear your heart on your shoulder, which is a good idea. Ben May on the chat says, question, should we, the fans, be applying pressure on forcing Madrox out of the club? We'll touch on that quickly as well. Jack, do you think there's anything in it? Are the players not? Are they not a team? Do you think that there could be a bit of friction in there?
I think so, perhaps, but I think it's maybe a lack of confidence as well. When to play at your best and play at your maximum, I think you've got to be going into games with a bit of belief. And I think our players are coming onto the pitch at the minute, and there's no belief in them. There's nobody to really grab a game by the scruff of the neck. Do you know what I mean? And say, stand up for it and have a real go. I think the players are looking at each other and we're just kind of waiting for the inevitable, waiting for the other team to score, and our heads drop. And I think form comes into it as well, because when we were flying at the start of the season, everyone was confident, everyone was playing. There was a fluency, and I think we won 6 of the first 9, I think. And now we've only won, is it 1 in the last 9 or 1 in the last 10? So few results, if we can pull a few results out from somewhere, then that might lift things a little bit again as well. But just looks like there's a real lack of belief within the players, whether it's down in tools or lack of confidence or what, I don't know. But there's certainly a few players going on that pitch yesterday, and they looked like they were playing well beneath the level you'd expect from a Sunderland team. And yeah, it's just a sorry state at the minute. We seem to be losing games frequently, and there's a real genuine danger that we might not even get playoffs. You're looking at it a few weeks ago, you'd have nailed us on for the playoffs. Now you're looking at it thinking, I'm not sure. So we're crying out. We're crying out for a win from somewhere. Hopefully, we can get a Tuesday night.
Well, that's what we're going to move on to next. We're going to ask. Let me do this quickly, Terry, before I bring you in. I want to say welcome to Ben Hansen, our newest member of the channel. He's joined. Terry, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say that what Alex Neil was saying yesterday, and after his match interview, was saying there's too many sideways and backwards passes. He tries to get them to play the ball forward as quick as possible when the opportunity arises. I think he's going to try and sort of get that Lee Johnson sort of style of football out of the team, because for me, Doyle passes the ball like backwards and sideways too much, and it's very slow. We need a much faster pace, faster pace sort of football at the moment, because it's just too predictable and slow.
Right, okay. I'm going to ask you now then about will we make the playoffs? And this might shock you, but I'm going to finally accept that we're not going to make the top 2. I think we'll make playoffs easily. Plenty of games to do that. We're just outside. We're not playing good, but I just think it's going to get turned around. Alex Neil, he's only had a week really in charge to try and do anything with them. I'm sure he's going to turn it round and then get us in the playoffs. But I will accept, for me, top 2 has definitely gone now. Dino, are we going to make the playoffs?
The mad thing is, at the start of the season, I says we wouldn't make playoffs, and then my mind changed because how well we were playing. And then it's mad to think that now it actually looks like we're not going to make the playoffs. We're playing like a relegation team at the minute. We haven't won in how long? We're getting beat by teams who we should be winning. We got beat up by Doncaster. I'm not being funny. We should be beating them if you're going for playoffs. I know on every given day, anyone can beat anyone, but at the minute, we're playing like a relegation team. So I'm going to say no. I don't think we'll make them now.
Right, fair enough. But I mean, that's the Dominator and fair play. I mean, you did say at the start of the season that we wouldn't even make the playoffs either. Emma Hansen on the chat, I'll bring you in just now. Terry says, I've said our next win will be Wigan, as we've got to give Neil the chance to get to know the players and what they're good at. Terry?
Dean, why did you think at the start of the season we wouldn't make the playoffs? Because of Lee Johnson, because of the recruitment? Just what was the reasons behind that?
Because the investment wasn't there at the time, because we let a lot of players go, like Power left, Ledbetter left, and we had a bit of a bare squad, didn't we? And we didn't bring any players in at the time. There was none of these loan players like the Giorgos and the Hoffmans and all that. We didn't have that. We had a really bare squad. And off the last season, I mean, we were playing terribly, weren't we? Like towards the back end. And then I changed my mind because the first 5 games, I mean, we were mint. We were passable, winning games. We got beat by Burton, but we dominated them. It was one of them games. And now, I mean, we're just not. I don't know what it is. We're just not good enough at the minute. I don't know what it is, because these players should be good enough, but for whatever reason, we're playing badly, so badly. It's ridiculous.
And I get what you're saying about the players, because I think we all questioned the recruitment at the start of the season, saying, we're going to struggle because we're bringing the youth players through and stuff. However, we were then praising them because the first 10 games or something, I think it was the best start of the season we've ever had. Terry?
I think, you need to go with your gut instinct. I think we all actually thought the recruitment wasn't good in the summer. And then we got that good start. We all thought, oh, is this better than we actually think? But you need to really go with your gut feelings, because your gut feelings is normally right. Yeah,
that's a fair point, that, Terry. I mean, maybe we was right to think, that the recruitment was very good, and that start just sort of clouded it. Yes.
And again, a lot of us was thinking, why is he not spending these millions, spending all this money? And the reason was because he he's not the main shareholder at Sunderland. That was the main reason why. Right. So again, we knew there was something there.
Yeah, well, that's a fair point as well. I'll come back to you, Terry, on playoffs. Jack, will we make the playoffs? Why, aye, come on, Jack. Bit of positivity.
I think we will. I think it's. I mean, our form is terrible at the minute, and if the season's finished now, obviously, or the next couple of games, you wouldn't bank on it. But we have got 13 games left, I think, and I think we will get in. I've always said I think we're probably maybe the fourth or fifth best team in this league. So I think we will get in, but I think it was nailed on a few weeks ago. If you'd asked us kind of turn of the year, everyone would have said no, go for automatic promotion. But now you're looking at it now thinking, I'm not so sure, but I still think we will. I think we will pick up form. I know form's poor at the minute and confidence is low, but I'm a big believer in momentum. I think if you can get a few results together at this level, like we did at the start of the season, anything's possible. And I really do think we can get it going again. But it's going to need one win to turn it, and it needs a few players to pick form up again. Which at the minute I know people are going to say it looks way off, and it does. But I'm trying to stay as positive as I can.
Right, okay. On the chat, Steve Flanders says 6 points from the last 9, second bottom on current form. Tony Lee says last week you lot were on about winning all the remaining games, more like losing them all. Tony, I think that was more me and my head in the clouds as it normally is, saying winning. And here's an interesting one for you. Alan Walton says Sunderland not to win another game this season is 2,000 to 1. That's worth sticking a quid on, isn't it? Well,
good point.
Then you'll be going to games wanting Sunderland not to win, won't you, really? Because you want to win your bet. So I don't know if that's the right thing to do.
Well, I'm happy to lose. I would be happy to lose £1. Terry, we are going to make the playoffs. I mean, you know that. I mean, you're a sensible bloke, aren't you?
I mean, we'll go back to that Burton game at the start of the season. We had Burge goal. We had Flanagan as centre-back. We had Luke going 9 in the midfield. We had Gooch on the right. We had McGeady on the left. And we had Embleton as number 10. So we've lost 6 of we've only got 5 of the players actually starting now that started that Burton game. We played so well and we got beat 1-0. So the beginning of the season was a different shape to the side. There was a different team there. Then we decided to bring Hoffman and Diaco in, whether that was just because contacts with this Bayern, I don't know, it was Bayern Munich, and they had to play them. They got to play them because in a contract, I don't know whose idea. Maybe that's probably Speakman's idea. So yes, we've had like a lot of changes.
Hang on, is that definitely in the contract? That has to be played.
I don't know, but why would you? Why would you? Well, if you start the season so well and you've only lost you win some, I don't know what it was now, he said, but we got all top of the table, then why would you start changing the team around and mucking about with players when the players actually playing okay, they're on the park? So for me, you're mucking about too much, and these loan players from like big teams, it's got a lot to be sort of accountable for. But I think, yes, we will make the playoffs. I do. I feel confident we'll win the playoffs. I think we'll start by winning on Tuesday against Burton.
Right, okay, fantastic. I hope you're right. Like I said, stick around because we are going to have Dave Child is going to come on, the Burton Fan, fantastic Burton Fan. We'll be chatting to him about the upcoming game on Tuesday. Over 400 people on the stream. Just hit the thumbs up if you haven't done so already. And if you are watching, you haven't subscribed to the channel, it's free to subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button and that will help us out. Next question, I'll pass around to you. Jack, why no Jermaine Defoe, and what's the point of buying him, if we're not going to use him?
Well, I think it was definitely the right thing to do. I think everybody wanted him. I think he's a proven goal scorer. The only issue was fitness. We all said he's only played 10 minutes of football or something for Rangers this season. So we all knew Jermaine Defoe was going to have to be edged back, brought off the bench a couple of times, and then given a run in the game. And that, up until yesterday, that looks like what we were doing. He's had a couple of substitute appearances. And then yesterday, I couldn't understand for one minute why we didn't bring him off the bench. You're losing the game. You've got a goal scorer there. Go for it. Take a holding mid off. Take a centre mid off. Put Defoe on. It was the only thing that might have given the crowd a little bit of a lift. And you never know, get a chance and put it away. So I can't understand why you didn't bring him off the bench. And I do think that moving forward, I mean, just purely from a technical looking at the team, I always thought, well, the only issue with signing Defoe is how do you work the team so he gets in? But, that's something you worry about after you get the deal done, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? You sign a player I mean, ideally, you should have him ready to fit in the team, but when an opportunity like that becomes available to sign a player like Defoe, you have to just go for it. So I think it was the right move, but I couldn't understand why he wasn't brought off the bench yesterday. He needs minutes. He's desperately crying out for minutes on the pitch. We didn't bring him off the bench when we were a goal down at home. I just couldn't work it out. Didn't understand it for 1 second.
Yeah, totally agree with you. I'd be interested to know what Alex Neil's thoughts were on that, because, like we say, he needs match fitness. And, you know, you're right. We're 1-0 down, proven goal scorer. Tony Lee on the chat says a half-fit Defoe would do okay in this crap league. It baffles me why he wasn't brought on. And like you say, even if it was just to lift the crowd. Terry, no Jermaine Defoe? Why not? Your thoughts on it?
The only reason we brought Jermaine Defoe into this club, well, actually, there's two reasons. First reason is obviously the PR stunt, to get the crowd back on side and get the crowd at the ground and to get more fans at the ground. And the second reason is because we know if Stewart gets injured, we have nobody else on the side. So that's the only reason Jermaine Defoe is being brought in, because he doesn't fit into any of the systems. He doesn't fit into Lee Johnson's system of 4-2-3-1. Doesn't fit into Alex Neil's system of 4-3-3. So he's only being brought in as cover for Stewart and to get the fans back on side. But you know, when you go goal down with 15 minutes to go, that's when you've got to have two strikers on the pitch. You've got to be able to adapt and change your system and do something different. Now, whether Alex Neil will ever play Jermaine Defoe ahead of Stewart is probably no. Will he ever change his system to have two strikers? It's probably no. So the chances are we're not going to see Jermaine Defoe probably not start a game of football this season unless Alex Neil changes his system or Stewart gets injured. And that's the way it's going to be. It's unfortunate. And I would like to see Jermaine Defoe come on at half time or come on earlier. But I think we just got just the way the managers are at the moment. The head coaches don't play the system that would suit two strikers.
The thing is, though, Terry, it's all right saying he's been brought in as cover for Ross Stewart if he gets injured, but he needs to be fit. You know what I mean?
I know that. You know that. He needs game time. That means the thing is, right? He's not going to. If Alex Neil doesn't want to change his system, or Lee Johnson didn't want to change his system, right? So you got one up front. Now, if he still thinks a Stewart after 70 minutes is better than a Jermaine Defoe, then he'll leave Stewart on, won't he? The only way Jermaine Defoe is going to get fit is either get minutes on the pitch, put him in under 23 game if that's allowed. I don't know if it is, or he's going to have to do more training. But for me, the only way he's going to get a game is if Stewart. We don't want Stewart because Stewart scores goals. We don't want Stewart injured. But for me, it isn't up front where the problem is. It's the defence where the problem is. We ship goals in left, right, and centre. We need to keep a clean sheet. If we constantly keep clean sheets, we nearly always score goals. So we win games of football. That's where you need to put some focus on the defence. But we've absolutely ruined that by getting rid of Younger and Flanagan in the transfer window. It's been ruined because, we got Bart who's came in, but he's been injured. I mean, God forbid if we get an injury. People with foresight, these people who own the club and get rid of players, bring players in, are absolutely thick as, and I don't want to say it, fuck. But there we go.
Right, okay. I'll go to you next, Dino. We've got Dave Child, the Burton fan, just waiting backstage. So we'll get your thoughts on it, Dino, and then we'll bring Dave in. So no Jermaine Defoe yesterday. I mean, it was crazy, wasn't it? Your thoughts on it?
I mean, like Jermaine Defoe, I'm not being funny. He's going to be in great shape regardless. He might not be 90-minute match fit, but I'm not being funny. He should be at least 45 minutes in shape, in match fitness. I mean, when you're a striker, I know Ross Stewart does a lot of running around, but maybe when Defoe's on, he doesn't need to, because Ross Stewart thinks that he has to do all the legwork running down the wings in that way, where Defoe, he's most dangerous around the box. So you would just have to keep Defoe just round the box to latch onto a cross or get that yard of space when he's got the ball at his feet. I mean, I'm sure there's a stat out there saying he's only touched the ball 10 times and had one shot or something in the time he's played. But I do think Alex Neil needs to find out what his best team is. I thought having Jack Clark on the bench was a ludicrous decision. Jack Clark's one of the brightest sparks. I mean, he came on yesterday and all he done was run at their defender and he beat him probably 8 times out of 10. Yeah. He was so dangerous. Yeah. I mean, you could have started him over Giorgio, because I thought Giorgio was quite bad yesterday. He ran the ball out of play far too many times. There's a lot of decisions he needs to, because if you had Jack Clark on the pitch, that means you could have used Defoe. It was the fact that we brought Patrick Roberts on for our last substitution, where I think Patrick Roberts should be starting. I think Patrick Roberts on one wing and Jack Clark on another. I really do. I think that would work. And then you can use the Defoe substitution, but with him using it for Embleton, Roberts and Clark, you haven't got that option anymore. So I think he needs to find out what his best team is first. But yeah, I think we need to get Defoe on, because at the end of the day, Defoe is a goal scorer. You don't lose that ability to score goals. I mean, Kevin Phillips was banging goals in for Palace in the Championship, wasn't he? When he was like 38 or whatever. So you can do it at this level. And let's be fair, this is probably the worst level Defoe's ever played in. And this is probably the worst team Defoe's ever played in as well. So he must be looking around going, can these players provide me with a service? So there's a lot of things wrong.
I'll bring you in just now, Terry, and then we'll want to get to Dave on. Keno says, I don't think it's that Keno, by the way, said Jermaine Defoe was a PR stunt, nothing else. But also Nibs on the chat says, correct, Dino, he's intelligent enough to use his energy when needed most. He's got that experience, Jermaine Defoe. Terry, quick, and then we'll bring Dave in.
Exactly. Does anybody know why we actually started Diaku yesterday? Why was actually, is that because of this loan situation again? That's what sort of for me, because I don't think Diaku's played well for a few games now since before. Is it just to have a look at him, see what he's like, see if he's any good on the pitch? Because yesterday I thought Diaku was absolutely awful. I thought he was awful, and I thought, like Dean says, Clark should have been on all day long from the start.
Can I quickly just say something as well? I mean, Terry says we're okay in attack. I'm not being funny. For a while, I think we've been terrible in attack. We're not creating chances. I mean, I don't even think we had a shot in the first half.
But if you keep clean sheets, do you know you win yesterday?
But the thing is, you can't guarantee clean sheet. You can't guarantee anything in the game.
I know, but the defence has got to be better. I mean, 50 goals in defence is pathetic, isn't it, really?
But the thing is, though, Terry, we should know we can't keep clean sheets. So trying to say... Our strength isn't keeping clean sheets. Our strength is scoring goals. So for me, we need to score more goals than the other team. It's as simple as that, because we can't.
Keep it quick.
If we should know, Dino, how do these people in charge of the club not know by getting rid of all the centre backs?
I don't know, mate.
I'm going to bring Dave in. This is Dave Childy. A round of applause for Dave. Here he is.
Thank you.
How you doing, Dave? You all right?
Doing all right. Just a quick message for the guys. I want you to look back at me now and smile, because life is going to get better. Go on.
Hey, come on.
Listening. Dino, come on.
I don't smile, mate. I don't smile.
Dino smiles for nobody, Dave. He smiles for nobody.
But there you are, mate.
Right, well, look, we play Burton Albion on Tuesday night, 7:45 kickoff. I mean, I was that upset yesterday at the match. I gave my season ticket to my friend who sits next to us. I said, "Here, use that, because I ain't going. I'm having it's one of me nights with the family, and I ain't even going." And that's how upset I was. But anyway, Dave, you're a bit of a bogey side for us. Are you confident for Tuesday?
No, I'm never confident. No, of course you're not confident. I mean, let's be fair, Burton last season it was a real struggle. We thought we were going to go down. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, Dino Mamaria saved us. This season we ain't going to go up and we ain't going to go down. So it's probably in most people's eyes a bit of a pointless season. The strange thing is, we, like many other clubs, ain't got no consistency. 1 minute we're brilliant, the next minute we're not. We were awful at Ipswich, and we were brilliant against Bolton. So you asked me on Tuesday what we're going to be. I have no idea. All I can say is we are a bit of a bogey side for Sunderland. We raise our game when we play at the Stadium of Light. We Philly, you know what I'm going to say now. We've never lost at the Stadium of Light. There you go. I thought I'd get that one in. But, and is it a good time to play Sunderland? 1 win in 9? Yeah, great time to play Sunderland. But hang on, we're Burton Albion. We change our team pretty much every week, so we never keep the same starting 11. Jimmy is the new Tinker Man. We've got a fairly healthy-looking squad in terms of numbers, so sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. You ask Bolton, it worked out against them. We were 3 up inside 20-odd minutes. What do you read into it? We scored 3 in 20 minutes. They scored 6 against you over 90. Nothing, really. It's a strange league. Anybody can beat anybody. Won't mention Doncaster again, but there you are. We have done. I honestly don't know. If we could keep a clean sheet, that would be great. And it would be a bit of a first because we don't keep them very often. We'll wait and see. I think the key to all this for you, and you still can make the playoffs, is the crowd. When you've got 32, 38,000, whatever it is you get there, you've got to get behind the team. Not get on the backs. Although on Tuesday night, you'd give them hell if we go 1-0 up. And we'll take it from there. But be a good game, but not to play Burton.
I've got to say, Dave, I won't be getting on the backs on Tuesday night. No chance. I'll make sure I won't be there. I mean, you did mention about consistency there. I think you've hit the nail on the head. That's why nobody's really run away with this league. I think nobody's grabbed that opportunity when it's been there to go miles clear. Jack, have you got anything you want to chuck at Dave?
Yeah, I wanted to. It was a bit about the bogey team. To be fair, do you think it is just a raising of the game, or do you think it's maybe Sunderland coming to games against Burton with a little bit of complacency? Because no disrespect, but in terms of size of the club, there's obviously a massive gulf between Sunderland and Burton. So do you think maybe it's you raising the game off? Because I sometimes think with Sunderland, we are a little bit complacent against smaller teams at this level, and sometimes we don't play. We don't put the full level of commitment in because we're coming to sometimes with an attitude of, well, we're Sunderland, they're Burton, so maybe we should just turn up and win. And I think it sometimes comes to bite us in the backside.
Quite agree with you, totally. Yes, we do raise our game against Sunderland. Let's be honest. It's not me just slapping you on the back. You've got the best ground comfortably in League One, easily the best support. It's a lovely, lovely club. So when some of our lads who were fairly young and the more experienced lads who will probably get the last opportunity to play in a lovely stadium like that, they want to make a good account of themselves. You know, they want to turn up and play well, and we have done so far. And I tell you what, Jimmy has been pretty scathing after our trip to Ipswich. So the boys will be really, really up for it. What more can you say? If I was a manager, I'd be saying, try look at Sunderland. They're on a terrible run. They've just lost to MK Dons. They're not great at home at the moment. Their main goal source is obviously Ross Stewart. Love Ross Stewart. Great player. I'm a bigger fan of his dad, to be perfectly honest, Rod. Got the album in the car. I'm banging tunes. Anyway, he's been banging them in, 19 goals. Great. Really like the lad. But we know where the source comes from. As for Jermaine Defoe, I agree with the man in the flat above me. Yeah, if you score goals, you score goals, no matter how old you are. If you get them put on a plate for you, you're a danger. And it'll be a danger. Great test for our defenders. Should be a decent game. Obviously, I want Burton to win. But after that, I honestly believe you'll get it together a minute because Alex Neil's a decent manager. And you will make the playoffs. Yeah, you will. You know, I mean, Oxford always put a bit of a run together. Strange team. They're up there now. Their bubble will burst or wobble a bit. You'll make the playoffs. Don't worry about it. But it'll be after Tuesday.
Right, just very quickly on the chat, Salad Dodger 82 says Burton played well against us at Rotherham. Obviously, a Rotherham fan there. Ben May says Burton bringing many fans up. Are they bringing many fans up, Dave?
Well, I'd say about 5,000, but too many noughts on that. I don't know. I would think we'd be, a nice round figure of 150 to 200. It'd be nice. But I'll be in the armchair, a bit of eye follow. Yeah, it's a Tuesday night, and I've got my little grandson all day, and he wins over football at the moment until he's old enough to come. And then I'll bring him up in the tried and trusted way. He'll be a brewer.
Yeah, you'll ruin his life for him, like we've done with all our kids and stuff like that, where you just you condemn them to a life of watching their son. And in our case, Terry, is there anything you want to put to Dave?
Yeah, who out of the two managers, who was your favourite and who was better, Jimmy or Nigel?
Jimmy or Nigel? Well, if I'm forced to choose, I suppose I'll go Nigel at the moment because he's been to the club twice. And when he came in 98, we were making trips to Bishop Auckland and to Blythe Spartans, and I can name you every non-league ground there is. Nigel played in midfield for us then, was player manager. He was 10 years at the club, and he is the reason, because he gave the club such great stature, that we were able and put in the position to get out of the conference and get into the Football League. Jimmy, totally different, a great period. He's also had 2 spells at the club, very successful first time around and successful in a different way second time around. Not actually winning this promotion, but saving us from relegation. So 2 good things, 2 great managers.
Well, you could have been Nigel left the back end of last season, was it?
It was, yeah. As COVID came along, clubs were looking and thinking, what can we do? Nigel stepped forward and said, you know what, I've probably gone as far as I can. So he stepped away and Jake Buxton took over. Didn't quite work out for Jake. And then Jimmy came in, as you know. But, we're pleased to see Nigel doing well at Mansfield. And he'll always be, one of the greats at Burton Albion. Of course he will, yeah.
Right, fair enough. Just very quickly on the chat, Anthony Pearce says our crowd actually gives the opposition a boost as they're not used to the atmosphere. And the casual observer says, what atmosphere? It was flat as a fart, which it was. I mean, it was terrible. It was terrible yesterday. Tony Lee says Nigel Clough should be Sunderland manager. Tony, when he came down on the bus with us, was championing that all day long. Dino, have you anything you want to put to Dave?
I don't really know, to be fair, because I wasn't expecting him to be on, so I didn't do any research.
No, it was my fault. I told you last minute. It's all right.
TV, something like that, mate. Something relevant.
I think
we'll put it in a minute, mate. Yeah, it'd be nice that.
I think. Do you think that, like, obviously it's probably the best type of place Sunderland at the minute. You've been a bogey team since the Championship when Darren Bent basically relegated. I think I'm not very confident for Tuesday. I really do think that he's going to do a job on it. I don't know what it is. Do you think that he'll dominate, or do you think it'll be a close game? Because let's be fair, teams have dominated Sunderland. We're not creating chances. Do you think your team will be able to keep us out and take our defence apart with the players you've got?
First thing we need to do is not concede the first goal. We conceded after a minute to Ipswich, and that's typical Burton. If we score first, we win. It's as simple as that. So the priority will be a clean sheet, don't lose on Tuesday. But, we've got players in the side. We've got 2 young forwards who are very, very good. You've probably never heard of them. Gassan Ahadmi is one, a 21-year-old Spanish lad, looking good. And we've signed a lad from Bournemouth on loan, Christian Sadie, who looks a bit of a powerhouse. And then, of course, we signed it just before the weekend, Umar Niasse, who cost Everton $13.5 million. I don't know how good he's going to be. I played for 2 years and he came on as a sub on Saturday, so unfair to judge. But if he's got the talent and it was worth $13.5 million at some point, you don't know. He's a bit like Jermaine Defoe. If you're a goal scorer, you've always got it, haven't you? Let's be fair.
Right, I'll bring you in just now, Terry. Jack's got a question for Dave, but also just very quickly on the chat. Where was it? Somebody said, "Did Nigel Clough?" I can't find it. Oh, there he's there. Ian Barron. Didn't Nigel Clough manage Burton for free once? Did that happen, Dave?
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, sorry, Nigel, but you don't need the money, lads. Let's be fair. His dad seemed to have a decent job and did okay. So, he doesn't need the money. He's a really nice bloke. He still lives locally and always manages teams that are fairly close to his home base: Mansfield, Burton, Sheffield United, Derby, and so forth. Right. So, yes, he probably did manage the club for a very small wage. Whether it was for free or not, I'm not sure.
Okay, Jack, and then we'll bring you in, Terry.
It was just you touched on it there just before I was going to ask about it, but your signing of Umar Niasse. Now, I think I thought it was quite a coup for a club of Burton's size to get somebody like that. I think he could be a really good player at this level. So, I mean, how well do you think he'll do? And also, like I say, do you think that's one of the biggest in terms of signings? Do you think that's one of the biggest signings Burton have ever made, to sign a player of Premier League, has been in the Premier League, and for someone that a big club like Everton paid a lot of money for? Because I was shocked, no disrespect to the game, but I was shocked someone like Burton were able to get someone of that. I don't like to use the word quality stature.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely spot on. We call it the Jimmy factor. Daniel Jebison is a good example of the Jimmy factor. He was linked with Sunderland. Boy, you missed out on a good player there. You got Nathan Broadhead. We'd had him at Burton as well on loan. But the Jimmy factor really has got some pull. And players want to come to play for Burton because, one, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Two, you get to train up at St George's Park. And three, I suppose it's a nice club to come and play for. So I think you're absolutely right. It could turn out to be one of the biggest signings in Burton's history. The lad's only 31. He can still play. He's good enough. And he wants to prove and get back to probably a decent level. Okay, Burton Albion's a stepping stone. We accept that, but we'll get some benefit before that happens.
Right, fair enough. Terry, you was one.
I was just going to say to him, can you pronounce that young Spanish lad's full name again, please?
Oh, yeah. Ghassan Ahadmi.
What's his last name?
Whatever he wants. Ahadmi.
I thought he had three names, that was all.
Yeah, well, he would do. We just call him the Gas Man. It's easier.
The Gas Man.
The Gas Man.
Is he any good then?
Well, he's not fitted any boilers for me, mate. So, I don't know.
Right. All right, then. Dave, you're only 12 points outside the playoffs. Any chance of you sort of creeping in there? Because, I mean, we're coming down now, so you could have our place. Any chance of that, do you think?
You talk some rubbish sometimes, Philly, don't you? No,
what do you mean sometimes?
No, you'll be taking that place. Don't you worry about it. If you've got to play some of the teams that, shall we say, above Burton, who also fancy the playoffs, they're your key matches. Beating Burton's fine, but you want to be beating the teams that you're competing against that are above you. They're the true 6-pointers. So they're the fixtures you need to look at, really. But in the short answer to your question about us making the playoffs, no.
Right. Fair enough. I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, what we're going to do is Terry normally has his whiteboard and he puts our team up. But before we bring that on, I quickly want to ask you, who are your danger men we need to sort of look out for, Dave? Then we can get on the phone to Alex Neil and just say Dave said, and then we can work around it.
Go, Dave, who? Our danger men. It depends if Jimmy plays them, to be perfectly honest. You know what? We've got a little lad in midfield who didn't play on Saturday. I wonder if he'll be fit. Kieran Gilligan, homegrown. Oh, he'll run all day, he will. He'd love to play at the Stadium of Light. I've got a feeling our young forwards could be prominent. Christian Sadie and what's the other one called? Adam. No,
Terry, you pronounce it.
Oh, Terry, let's do this.
I don't even know. I don't know why I call him. Apparently, he's called G.A.
Is he?
That's his name, G.A.
Hey, let me just say, going off the Burton subject, I think I've got it written down here. The Loch Ness Drogba. That's brilliant. I love it. Oh, dear. But, yeah, I mean, again, it depends. We've got one or two that do the job. We play with wing-backs. Watch out for Tom Hamer's long throw. You know, we just need to win that first ball and flick it on. At the moment, probably one of our best players is John Brayford, who's one of the longest-serving players at the club, one of the oldest. He's the captain, plays in the centre of the back three, and he's on fire this season. Scored 2 against Bolton, so he's a threat.
Isn't that Conrad?
Yes, he looks. Yeah, he's the double of. We have Conrad who's part of our channel, and he is actually the double of Conrad. We call him Conrad Lee. John Brayford plays at the back for you. Yeah, he banged a couple in, didn't he? A couple of weeks ago, didn't he? He certainly did. Right, Terry, what's your team then? Your predicted team for Tuesday? Let me try. Oh, that's terrible. Let's get you off there.
Well,
let's have a look.
It's not a predicted team for the simple reason that he's going to play 4-3-3. So if he plays 4-3-3, he wants to start Clark and drop Diago. So he's going to play 4-3-3. But if it was me, if I was in charge, but it's the reason why I'm not a manager, you're going to laugh at this team. But this is the team I would start. There we go. We need some centre-backs. We need some centre-backs. Hopefully, Bart is fit. Bring back Hume. Clark, Circle is completely gone. So I'd bring back Gooch as a wing-back. I'd have Winchester drop Neil. Neil's knackered. Doyle's knackered. So that's the team I would start before. Now I would play that side because, I mean, it can't get any worse than we've been playing at the moment. So we definitely need to shoot up the defence.
Do you not think Clark deserves a start?
That's what I'm saying. If I was playing 4-3-3, he would start. But I don't see Clark as a wing-back. So for me, it's more important to have a clean sheet than it is to score lots of goals. Win 1-0. 1-0 will do me on Tuesday. 1-0 all day long.
Right, okay, fair points. Let's get some predictions from you then, and because we are just about out of time anyway. Let's go to you, Dave. Prediction for Sunderland versus Burton Tuesday night.
Well, I'd like to think the first bit, sorry lads, about the oohs and the ahs that come now. Sunderland 0. And we might score.
Right. Well, you're going for a 1-0 away win. Right, okay. Dino, what are you going for?
We'll get beat 2-1.
Really? Right, okay. Confidence really low. Jack, what are you saying?
Draw again, 1-1.
Oh, it's a happy camp, Dave, isn't it? In our following our lads at the moment. Terry, what are you going for?
Yeah, he's going to make some changes on Tuesday. I'm going to go for 3-1 win.
Oh, so is my bet actually going to come up this time?
Finally going to come up against Burton. I know we've played them 6 times. We've lost 4, drawn 2, and only won 2. So it's about time we got one over them. We're going to win for the first time at the Stadium of Light.
Right, well, I'm going to shock you all by saying I think we'll get beat 2-1. And that's the first time I think it's the first time I've ever gone against that. What I saw on Saturday, I don't know why
That's why Neil will make some changes. I think he'll make some changes for Tuesday night. He's seen stuff as well.
On a plus note, I never ever get the predictions right anyway. So I mean, we can look at it like that, can we? Really? So look, listen, that's about it, really, from us. Dave, thank you so much for coming on, giving us the insight into Burton.
Thank you, lads, each and every one of you. You know what? This is one of the best happy hours that I've ever been to. Dino, even you're joining in now. I feel my work is done as the therapist here now. Yeah, you'll make the playoff. Don't worry about it.
Fantastic. Honestly. Oh, yeah. God, I wish we had more like you. Terry, do you just want to say bye to everybody?
Goodbye, everybody, and take care.
There you go. Dino, just say bye.
See you there, boys and girls.
And Jack?
Hi, see you later, lads and lasses.
There you go. And from me as well, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It's free to do so. And don't forget, if you have joined as a member, you'll see your name scrolling up in the credits at the end. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back with you on Thursday. Thanks, Dave. See you all later. Bye-bye.